Hello, this is Melina with How's Your Mental Health with Melina and Beth. And you are,
Oh, you talking to me?
yeah. Who else would I be speaking to?
It's not the way we enter the show. I mean, I didn't even get my bang up whoopie dee music to come on air with.
Hey, I gave
Oh,
you the warning.
you hadn't come up with that warm up music yet, have you?
No.
All right.
And I gave you the warning that I always do.
I'm
You
Beth.
just have to listen.
Good to see you.
I hope everybody's doing good. Beth, how was your week?
Oh, just splendid. Just absolutely splendid.
You sound very sarcastic saying that.
Really? It's not so. I just realized I didn't put my earrings in.
You're still beautiful.
Oh, oof.
So, well, this week we are discussing the stigma of mental illness. Okay. And there's stigma surrounding all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's stigma surrounding, and I'm not racist, I'm just saying there's stigma surrounding Black people, there's stigma surrounding Christians, there's stigma surrounding whatever. Well, we're going to discuss mental illness.
I'm a stigma in and of myself.
Ain't that the truth?
But I need me some drum music.
Well, you're the one with the sound effects over there.
I know, and I hadn't found me any drum music yet.
But well, the first thing I wanted to discuss is it's a web page, and if you guys want to look it up, it's found on the Mayo Clinic web page, and the title is Mental Health: Overcoming the Stigma of Mental Illness. Now, I want to hear from you all what kind of stigmas you all have had to endure in the past and what you may still be enduring. Okay, now for me, I have endured when I was in the assisted living. I was told that I didn't belong there because I looked and by talking to me sounded perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with me and I didn't belong in those places. At that time, I wasn't sure if I did and I wasn't sure if I didn't because I was believing what others were saying and I felt out of place. And I have also felt the stigma with trying to get life insurance. I had been told by several different companies, and I won't name them, that they guarantee people life insurance, you know. And as soon as I mention my mental illness and they ask, have you tried to commit suicide? And I have. They say that they cannot insure me, so to speak. So, yeah, I've had to deal with it. Beth, have you had any stigma either with your family or yourself due to mental illness? Not that you have a mental illness, of course you do, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. Well, you know I have.
Well, I don't, but our viewers may not.
I've had, people talk or say stuff, just to be rude and obnoxious. And in a restaurant, I had this old drunk guy follow me and some ladies out of a restaurant one night making obscure comments. And it's just,
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's just totally crazy because you don't expect that from folks nowadays, but they do. They just.
I mean, I don't think.
And then I get it all the time on my job because, of course, girl out on a construction site doing stuff. They don't think I know anything, but I'm old. I got gray hair. I've been doing this a long time.
I thought you said the gray hair came from me.
Most of it in the last But actually, this came from a fever that I had about 6 years ago because it used to be really dark. And then
Now, see,
you gave
I
me,
have it on tape that
let's
it
see
did
which one.
all come from me.
This one you gave me.
Okay, there is on this thing that I'm reading, a thing that says some harmful effects of stigma, and they can include a reluctance to seek help or treatment. I mean, we've all been there, you know. Nobody wants that label. Um, Lack of understanding by family, friends, or coworkers. And I don't know about you, but I have some family that I would not tell that I have a mental illness. Of course, I don't see any of my family, but you don't want them to know because they would make fun of you. They'd call you crazy, or you need to be carted off
I
to
can
the
I
window.
can tell you have one.
That's because you know me.
That's when you were supposed to say, well, I can tell you have one too, duh.
Well, I told you in the beginning, if you want to hang with
She's
me,
in her
you want to be
serious
crazy.
mind. She ain't thinking about cracking jokes on me. She's in serious mode right now. Back to what you
Another
were saying.
thing is fewer opportunities for work, school, or social activities, or even trouble finding housing. Now, because I have this illness, I am in a program that helps me with housing. But if I didn't have it, I would have a whole lot of trouble finding housing. Um, because most places nowadays want references and all kinds of stuff, and I ain't got it, especially going into my first housing. So, bullying, physical violence, and harassment. Um, I haven't had to endure too much bullying except in school, or physical violence, but harassment I have. Like I said, I really want to hear your guys' thoughts about this. Beth, have you had to endure any of that?
And
Uh
she's supposed to ask me a question just as I'm by a carrot.
huh.
I know this is highly unusual. Carrot. Put that down. Milo sweet tea from Food Line.
Beth, have you
Uh-huh.
had to endure any bullying or physical violence or harassment um,
Oh.
due to mental illness?
No. Well, no. I mean, people think I'm crazy all the time.
But that's the truth.
I know. So, any bullying that I get is,
From me.
well, I got the kind of personality that will bully back.
Yeah, you do.
So, it's not a good thing.
Okay, health insurance that doesn't adequately cover your mental illness treatment. Now, I really haven't had to deal with that other than the life insurance that I was talking about earlier. And I don't believe you have, Beth?
No, never had to deal
No.
with that.
Yeah. And the belief that you'll never succeed at certain challenges or that you can't improve your situation. And that I have had to experience. As I stated with the assisted living, I didn't think I would ever get out of assisted living, to be honest. Um, and because I thought that my mental illness would keep me there. You know, I didn't think I was capable. And of course, I've had friends to challenge that belief, and I now know differently. Um, Never succeed at certain challenges. And like I said, the housing thing has always been a big deal for me. Um, and other challenges can be for me learning new things, going out to social activities. Those are all things that are challenges for me, but I have friends who put me to the challenge. And
Like who?
I would not know other than the person I'm staring at.
Oh. I'm trying to ask constructive questions because, you're the one that asked me questions. I'm trying to have constructive
Yeah,
questions.
but I have the replies for those questions. That's the difference.
And speaking of which,
now, steps to cope with stigma. And this first one is a humongous one. And I do believe maybe one of the most difficult. Okay? And that is getting treatment. Regardless of what you may be afraid of, not treating your mental illness is worse than anything else you could possibly think. And you don't know the different types of therapy that could help you. You don't know. I am not pro medication, but I'm not anti medication either, because there are some meds that help me. And I will say they keep me sane. Because if I don't have them, I would wind up in the hospital. And Beth is agreeing, and that's not a sarcastic agreeing.
no.
That is not sarcastic. She's a sarcastic person, but that one would not be sarcastic. The stigma of don't let stigma create self-doubt or shame. What other people think of you, that's their own opinion. And I'm going to be blunt on this one. I normally don't use these words, but everybody has an opinion, like everybody has an asshole. Okay? My daddy used to say that, and it's the truth. I don't know anybody who doesn't have an opinion about something. It doesn't mean their opinion's right. It doesn't mean their opinion's wrong. Opinions are just that, opinions.
I've heard opinions are the same as something's because everybody has one.
You just want me to say it again.
Okay, next thing.
Don't isolate yourself. That's another big one. Because when you isolate yourself, your illness can get worse. People are social creatures. And we all need that human interaction. Whether we want to believe it or not, we do. So I've said it myself. I don't need people. But I know when I start isolating, my mental health issues get worse. And I think I want to say that's across the board. And I want to stop right here to say that we are not mental health professionals by no means. We are just two friends who like to talk about different mental health issues. And if you ever feel triggered by anything that either one of us says, to contact your local mental health hotline, the suicide prevention hotline if you're feeling unsafe, and please call 911. And make sure when you call 911 to tell them that it's for a mental health reason, and they have different tactics now that they can put into place for you.
Right, because a lot of what we do too. I mean, we joke and kid about a lot of it, and it's to keep things light.
Yeah, I'm the serious one, and she's the comedian. I think y'all kind of figured that out.
That way you don't get hung up. We don't want you to get hung up on
anything. That's why we kind of keep it going. And Beth, you are getting dark. Your screen's getting dark.
I think it just got shadowy outside, so my sun from my window,
kind
of went down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I still got my.
Yeah, but half your face was in shadow, so
Oh, that's wrong.
We want to see that beautiful face. Okay, another thing is do not equate yourself with your illness. I have bipolar. I have bipolar. I am not bipolar. I have PTSD. I am not PTSD. I have anxiety. I am not anxiety. Okay? We need to get away from that.
Yeah, no labels. We don't like
I
labels.
hate labels. I hate them.
No labels.
Okay. And if you need to join a support group, there are different websites you can get onto that can tell you if you have any in your area. One of them, which is my favorite, NAMI, it's the National Allegiance on Mental Health. And it's NAMI if you look at the website. And they have literally anything you could possibly think of as far as topics for adults, children, adolescents, family and friends, um, on any type of subject, which whether it be bipolar or generalized anxiety or different types of phobia. I mean, you just name it. It's just a vast collection in one place. Um, let's see. And there's also if you're a veteran, there are supports offered by the Department of Veteran Affairs. And you can contact them and they may be able to point you in the right direction. If you're in school, talk to your school counselor. They can point you in in the right direction. Of course, most of the time you would probably need some parental permission or whatever. I am not sure because I am not in that category. But just a heads up on that. Um, and this is what I'm doing. Speak out against the stigma. Don't let people stop you from speaking out. We all have a voice, and if we all use it, we can. I don't think we would ever make it go away completely, but we could most likely, in my opinion and in my hope, at least decrease it greatly if we could all speak out against it. And that's it. Onto that. Beth, on all that I shared, do you have any comments?
Um,
I can see
yeah.
the smoke.
Um, no, and I'll wait to do the shout out I want to do when we get to the end, if you don't
Okay.
mind.
All right. Um, I'm going to do a screen share. And this here's again. It's break the silence and break down the stigma. And I thought I had that going up. I apologize. I am talking to myself.
She does
No.
that quite often, folks.
Yes, I do.
Has an
There we go.
entire conversation.
I can. I
I apologize.
can.
Yep, yep.
Okay. Break the silence and break down the stigma. Barriers of fear, ignorance, and stigma are broken down when people take the risk to break the silence and speak out by sharing their struggles of living with mental illness or by sharing the struggles of loving and caring for a family member. And that's exactly what that last one that we talked about was, breaking the silence, speaking out against the stigma. You have anything? Hey, lady with the Trump shirt on, you got anything? Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
I muted myself because I was playing with my sound effects that I
Uh
pulled up.
huh.
So, yeah. No, break the silence and break down the stigma. Barriers of fear, ignorance, and stigma are broken down when people take the risk to break the silence and speak out by sharing their struggles. Oh, did you read this already?
Yeah, if you were paying attention, you know it.
No. So, next slide, please.
You're in shadows again. I don't like that sun because I can't see your beautiful face.
It's because I leaned forward. Let's see if does that help a little bit better.
Kinda.
Okay.
Mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of, but stigma and bias shame us all. I'm gonna let you talk about this one.
Mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of, but stigma and bias. Yeah, stigma and bias. This is true. This is when people, I guess for lack of a better word, call people out on this stuff or constantly stick stigmas onto folks. I mean, when you say
Yeah,
that
well,
that's the purpose of what it means in the
it's like the labels that people try to stick on everybody.
right.
Yeah. And it's like, let me think if I can think of a situation. Say someone's having a bad day at work and somebody, well, us women, we can relate to this one. You are cranky and irritable, and your children or significant others say you're just having PMS. Now, we all know that that's not true.
No, because men have it too.
Oh, yeah, they just call it something else. But we all know that's not true. But that's kind of what this is saying. But
I
that's
ain't figured out
a
what to
little
call it
off.
yet for them.
Yeah, and I think it's called something, but I won't say what.
It's called something, that's for sure.
All right, mental health myth and facts. Myth: mental health problems are rare. Reality: 1 in 4 people will experience mental health problems in any 1 year. A myth: people with mental health aren't able to work. Well, Beth has already proven that because she talks about her work all the time.
I managed to get up and go to work. Some
It,
days it's difficult. Some days it's very difficult.
it is likely that we all know someone experiencing a mental health problem. Just because they don't talk about it, they don't flaunt it, doesn't mean they don't have one. And we all, I would say, within your circle of friends, you may have at least one of them who deals with some type of mental health situation, whether they talk about it or not. Myth: children and young people's changes in moods are a part of growing up, nothing to worry about. Now, reality: 1 in 10 young people will go through problems with their mental health. And I want to say, and I don't have the statistics on it, so please don't take what I say as law or whatever you want to call it. But those who are being bullied, or especially the cyberbullying, because everything that's put on the internet will be there 20 to 30, 40, 100 years from now. They're the
Hopefully
ones,
not.
huh?
Hopefully not.
They're the ones that will most likely deal with mental health issues in the future, because the mortality rate of those children who are bullied are very high, are very low. Excuse me, I said that wrong. But we have to let young people, young adults, adolescents know that it's okay to talk about the feelings. If they can't talk, draw, write. And this old
Or
thing that
color.
the old thing that I grew up with, boys don't cry, big girls don't cry, is a bunch of hogwash.
You said hogwash.
Because it is a natural bodily reaction to any given situation. Heck, people don't think. I've told people, if I'm crying and yelling, it's time to stand back. If I'm crying, yelling, and cussing, it's time to leave.
That's true. Get out of the way. Clear path. Clear path.
And I've been that my whole life. So, people with mental, this is a myth, people with mental health problems don't experience discrimination. Well, we've already talked about that. Reality, 9 out of 10 with mental health problems experience stigma and discrimination. Myth. It's easy for, she does that stuff just to see my reaction. Myth. Myth. It's easy for people to talk about their feelings. That is a humongous myth. I don't like talking about my feelings. That woman right there don't like talking about her feelings. So, I mean, that's two people right there. That's
Who else is on here?
Huh?
Who else is on here?
You. That's two people right there. And we're good friends. And it's hard to get us to open up. Now I'll talk to Beth and a couple of my workers. But that's about the only ones I talk to, especially if I'm having a bad day. So now reality to that, many people worry about how friends and family will respond if they talk about their mental health difficulties. They also worry about what will happen if they open up. Now, I have been told when I went to a certain church that if I believed in God, which I do, that I should not feel any certain way other than happy. You know, if you're worried about something, if you're afraid of something, whatever it would be, if you're angered by something, well, you shouldn't, because God takes care of all of that. And again, that's a bunch of hogwash. I'm human. And that's all there is to it. Beth, you look like you're deep in thought.
Well, it's not hogwash on the God will take care of it. God will take
No,
care of it.
that's not hogwash.
Yeah,
But
that's not
it's
hogwash.
hogwash about me not feeling that way.
Right.
Because I believe God will take care of everything, but I'm still going to feel certain things because I'm human. And if you don't feel, then you're not human, or there's something wrong.
That's right.
Now, the two has the longest thing on reality, as you can see. People with mental illness are usually unpredictable and likely to be perpetrators of violent acts. That stigma saying that the abused will be the abuser is more false than fact. Um, People with mental illness are more likely to be the victims of violence and are usually more dangerous to themselves than others. 9 out of 10 suicides in the UK, I'm not sure why it said that, other than this here might be over there, don't know, are due to mental distress. In 2009, Beth, can you look up what that would be in the United States? Thank you.
What for what?
Let's see here. It says, this here's a sentence. People with mental illness are more likely to be victims of violence and are usually more dangerous to themselves than others. 9 out of 10 suicides in the UK are due to mental distress. Just say, what are the statistics for the mental distress in the United States? As she's looking that up, I'm going to go on. In 2009, out of a population of around 43 million, it is estimated that over 7 million will have significant mental health problems. Around 50 to 70 homicides a year are committed by mental health problems. Around there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sevens, and then 5 zeros, and then 7% of those will have a significant health problem. Now, I don't know enough about numbers to tell you how much that is, but it does not look like a very big thing. Beth, is 00007 big?
No.
No.
Well, and then well, I mean, if you want to, what I just pulled up, and you go back to your screen.
Okay, that's fine. All
It says
right.
nearly 1 in 5 U.S. adults live with mental illness, 52.9 million in the year 2020. And that's according to the National Institute of Mental
Mental
Health.
health. Okay, well that's good.
And that's a large number.
Excuse me. Yes, it is.
That's a very large number. So
But let's see here. Now I have one more screen for you. And this here's again ways to reduce mental health, but it's a little bit more fun to look at than if I can get it come up. There we go. Ways to reduce stigma attached to mental health. And you have that web page right up there, or at, I think it's a web page. Show compassion and love for those with mental illness. See, Beth, you're supposed to show compassion and love for me. Encourage equality between physical and mental illness. Now, I really wish this here would happen because I have actually had some doctors tell me that whatever I was feeling was literally in my head, and that what I was wanting to do, she was gonna what's that word I'm looking for? Not amuse. Well, she was just doing it just to please me. She didn't think, she said, when you come back, there won't be anything wrong. She literally said these words to me just because I already had a diagnosed mental health issue. So I really wish and hope that this here will be taken care of in the future. Educate yourself and others about mental health. I hope I'm doing that on here. And I do talk to other people, like in everyday situations. Beth,
yes.
what do you think about educating yourself and others about mental
Oh, wait a minute.
health?
Ruh-roh. What's your question?
What do you think about educating yourself and others about mental health to reduce mental health stigma?
I don't know about that one. Because,
Well, I said that I think that's what we do here.
I mean, we basically do that anyway in the common decency of how we react to people. You know?
No, I'm not sure I follow.
Well, I mean, if you don't have any common decency in how you react and respond to people that's different from you, I mean, you have no way of learning or being self-taught as far as mental illness is concerned, or how to do with others. I mean, doesn't that make sense?
Not to me, it don't.
Oh, well.
And see, I'm honest, and it drives people nuts. But
Because you basically, there's no way you can educate yourself and others about mental health unless you have a common core of decency within you. There's no way you can, because
so what you're saying, let me hear if I'm hearing this correctly. What you're saying is, in order to be able to educate, if I'm going to educate myself and others about mental health, I have to be, in essence, willing to learn about mental health.
there you go.
Okay. Why didn't you just say that?
I did. It is just a different way.
All right. Do not label or stereotype people with mental illness. We have already talked about, and do not allow yourself to be labeled. Do not take that label on. That's something else that we have to work at. Do not take that label on. Choose empowerment over shame. Educating yourself is very empowering because you know what to do in certain situations. Don't use disrespectful terms when you talk about other people or mental health. Now, I know some of the terminology that I use and that Beth uses can be deemed as disrespectful. We use it in joking, and it's usually toward ourselves and each other. I would not go out to some person on the street and say, "You're crazy." For me, I use the term, Beth, how would you put it? I use the term crazy as a joking thing. How would you put that?
Oh yeah, we both use it as a joking thing.
Yeah, because the thing that we're on now is don't use disrespectful terms when talking about people with or mental health. And I was just saying that although I use it toward myself and I may use it toward Beth, I would not go out on the street and call somebody crazy because that is disrespectful. I do tell people that in order to be my friend, either you're already crazy or I'll drive you crazy. And isn't that the truth?
Well, it sounds better than going up to somebody and going, okay, you're crazy. Okay, there's that. There's that. Or you go, if you went up to them and go, you have a mental health issue. Now, see, that sounds completely not good.
Yeah.
The first one sounded a whole lot better.
Yeah, but it depends on who you're talking to. It depends on who you're talking to. Because I have been into a place. It was a group, not a group home, but a daycare type deal for people.
Yeah, it's not good to do that.
And I called myself crazy, and I was just speaking toward myself, like I always do. I'm just having a crazy day, or well, we all know I'm crazy, different things
you
like
can't
that.
just say that to somebody because they might not be feeling very well or very secure with themselves at the time, and they could take that in a completely wrong
I
manner.
wasn't saying it about somebody else. I was
I know,
saying
but
it
I'm
about
just
me.
saying if we were to say that about
No,
somebody else,
you can't.
you can't do that because they could be in a completely different frame of mind.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I was reprimanded for calling myself crazy, and they were
Well,
like, "You shouldn't take that label," and I'm like, "It's not a label. I'm just nuts." And I said it with a smile, So you have to be careful of your terminology when dealing with different people.
yep.
And be a positive mental health role model. I'm not even sure what that means because you're supposed to be a positive role model regardless of whatever it is. Yes.
Go ahead. I'm just listening.
Well, I'm asking you.
Oh, I didn't hear you ask me a question.
I didn't. You're just spacing out. I can tell when you're spacing out.
I keep trying to find me some drums that go ba bump.
Well, you gotta find later.
Ah, okay.
Being a positive mental health role model. And I say I have trouble with that because you should be a positive role model regardless of what it is.
Oh, good point.
Is that
Excellent.
it?
Excellent. Yeah, excellent.
You know what? Whoever you guys are out there, ladies, gentlemen, kids, whatever, she can be totally not helpful sometimes. Now, this is coming the fun part. I have questions. I'm going to be asking Beth these questions, so she's got to pay attention. I hear that. Oh, let me take this here screen sharing off. It's not like you can see it anyway. I gotta get my cursor over here. Where is it? There. There we go.
Hello.
Are you ready? Now, some of these here are kind of cuckoo, okay?
I'm not ready for cuckoo puffs.
Somebody wants to make a showing. Okay. If you're a vegetable, what vegetable would you be and why? I knew you were going to do that.
Right now, I'm a carrot.
And why?
Because it's crunchy.
Okay. Me? I'd want to be a spinach because not a lot of people like spinach, so there'd be a less of a chance of me getting picked up and eaten. If you woke up tomorrow as an animal, what animal would you choose to be and why?
My dog.
And why?
Because she's babied and loved so greatly.
Lisa and I had this on the last show, and I chose Rocky. Yeah. This ain't the same questions, but sometimes they just repeat. All right. If you could live anywhere on this planet and take everything that you love with you, where would you choose to live?
Anywhere on this planet?
Uh-huh.
Hawaii.
And why?
Most beautiful place I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely beautiful. Pristine beaches, gorgeous atmosphere, sun shining, just absolutely beautiful. Only place I've ever visited that I ever wanted to stay. And I love Cancun. Cancun, it was gorgeous. Beaches were beautiful. The sun rose. It looked like it just came right up out of the ocean. But, nah, Hawaii. Of course, I'm fond of the North Carolina mountains, too. Okay, your turn.
No, I choose the North Carolina mountains.
Yeah.
I love the mountains. Not only does it remind me of where I grew up in New York State, and it is a state, there is more to it than the city. Okay. I grew up in the farmland and the hills, and I mean, in this fall, it looks just like where I grew up. And I even showed pictures to my sister-in-law who still lives up there. She says, when did you go to New York? And of course, I ain't done because it looks so much like it. That's where I would be. All right. Are you ready for this one? Yep. What favorite color are you, and how does being that color make you feel?
Well, I like blues and reds. I like green too.
That's three colors you got to choose.
Okay. I mean, and then I pick purple because I like purple pens. So I always pick purple.
That's 4 colors.
I know. I can't choose just one.
You have to choose one, and that's how you are. You're that favorite color. And how does it make you feel?
Good.
Well, you ain't chosen one color yet.
I chose all of them.
So you'd be a rainbow.
Okay.
Well, we all know what my color is.
Purple.
Uh-huh. And because I'm purple, I feel special.
Oh my goodness. Because you pick purple on stuff, I have to buy pink stuff so you don't get my stuff mixed up with yours.
Well, when you always buy stuff and you buy the same thing, just different sizes, we end up wearing the same thing on the same day together.
But
All right, let's see here.
Excuse me.
This will be fun.
Choke me up.
Huh? Yeah, all right?
Yeah, just kind of look.
A little hiccup.
That little
This will be
carrot
fun.
caught my throat. Eating
you
healthy ain't
something to
real
drink.
good for you.
Get you something to drink.
Sweet tea from Milo's.
All right. If you could choose an imaginary friend, who would you choose and why?
Well, I have an imaginary friend. His name
That's
is
scary.
Sam.
That's scary.
Yeah. So I talk to Sam quite a bit. Sam doesn't give me good advice. Not at all.
No.
No.
Is he the one you blame when you get yourself into trouble?
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
Sam's fault. Always Sam's fault.
Okay. My imaginary friend?
Mm-hmm.
What is he, though?
What is
Because it
who?
doesn't have to be a person. It's choose an imaginary friend.
I just said its name was Sam. I didn't say what it was.
I know you didn't.
I have no idea what it is.
Oh, okay. It's an it.
I mean, when I was little, I always told Mom I had the angel on one side and the little devil on the other, and the devil was going,
I think we
yeah,
all.
do that.
I think we all have that.
Yeah, so now I just call it Sam.
Well, my imaginary friend would most likely be one of my favorite animals. Do you know what it is?
A dog.
No.
What?
Well, you should. A bear.
Oh.
Every time we go to the mountains, I want to get a bear. A little figurine bear.
Good God.
Huh?
Bear.
And because I choose that, because bears are very protective. That's why.
Oh, okay.
All right. If you could sit on a bench in a beautiful wood, who would you like sitting on the bench next to you and why?
My dad.
I knew you were going to say that. And why?
So I could tell him that I love him.
No.
Even though he knew it, but sometimes you need to hear it more often.
My turn.
Well, yeah, unless you're frozen up over there.
You. Because that way I can drive you nuts some more.
Thank you.
See, my job in this
And I hope that was the last question.
Nope. My job in this world is to drive her nuts. All right, let's see here. Are you sunrise, daylight, twilight, or night? Pick. Please share your pick time of day.
Was there an afternoon in there?
Nope.
What was the afternoon?
Sunrise, daylight, twilight, or night?
All right, daylight then.
How come?
I'm most awake.
Okay.
Mornings, I can't do. I used to do mornings. Can't do mornings no more. Afternoons is about it. Twilight, I'm ready to sit down and just not move from the recliner. And then, Lordy mercy, by 8 o'clock, I'm in the bed. I'm like a good old person.
I would choose sunrise. Not that I can actually get up that early,
but
it's not,
you don't get up.
Talking about what our favorite time of day is. It says, are you sunrise? Listen to the question. I would choose sunrise only because there are a lot of beautiful pictures taken at sunrise, and it's always the beginning of a new day where everybody wants the day to end, but everybody's welcoming the new day.
That's true.
So, all right, if you could choose your age forever, what age would you choose and why?
Oh, goodness. That's a very difficult one. You answer it first. I don't know that I got an answer for it.
I'd say right now, my age. I ain't been this age before, so.
Well, I haven't either, and I'm the most, probably the wisest that I've ever been.
Same here. My age.
I mean, that's not saying much, but
Yeah, it is.
I got a lot more knowledge than what I had when I was 16 and really thought I knew it all.
If you could be in a movie of your choice, what movie would you choose and what character would you play and why?
Hmm.
Can
The way we were, I'd like to be Hubble, dressed up in that white military uniform.
I don't even know that movie.
I know, because it's older than you.
Can I say mine?
Go ahead.
Hermione on the Hogwarts with Harry Potter.
I don't know anything about any of that.
Well, that was like I think my teen to 20s. I mean, they're pretty old, so. All right. If you could meet any movie character, if you could meet them, who would you want to meet?
Well, I've learned so much about movie stars, and they're not all that they're cracked up to be. But I have always thought Anne Margaret was just absolutely wonderful.
Again, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, she's in a lot of Elvis Presley movies.
Now, see, I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash on this, but I don't like Elvis Presley movies.
I love Elvis Presley.
I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash on that, but I
You
don't
are,
like Elvis Presley.
Blue
I don't like
Hawaii.
him. I don't like him at all.
Blue Hawaii.
But I don't like his singing either.
Blue
I didn't think he could sing.
GI Blues.
I know him. I had to watch him when I was growing up with my mom, and my stepmom liked him, and I don't. So, all right. If you were a city, now not living in the city, Beth, but if you were a city, okay, which city would you choose to be and why?
Which city? I kind of like Blowing Rock because it's peaceful, very laid back, chill. Or Charleston. Now I like Charleston too.
Have you noticed when she needs to pick one city, everybody, she always has one thing, she always has a million others to pick?
I know, because I can always think of something else.
Now, me, I really don't know because I don't like the city. I live in a city right now, and I wish I was in the country. I just love the
But
country.
you loved it when we went to Asheville.
Oh, no, I didn't. It's nothing against anybody that lives there. I don't like the crowded stuff. It's just not me. All right, now this here you have to count. Do you think you're able to count to 10? What are your 10 favorite foods?
Italian, Italian, Italian.
That's not. No, 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 no,
Steak,
no.
grilled chicken, okra, fried okra, macaroni and cheese, vegetable soup, Italian and Italian. That's 10.
No, no. You're not getting out of it.
Hot dogs, mozzarella sticks, meatballs, lasagna,
There you go. All right.
spaghetti,
Okay.
chicken parmesan.
There.
I said it when I said Italian.
All right. For me, I like hot dogs. I like French fries. I like tater tots. I like grilled cheese with tomato soup. And see, I like baked spaghetti. Baked, or is it baked or squash casserole? Spaghetti squash. Chicken parmesan. And last one. I don't know about that last one. Potato chips. All right. Now you have to pretend you're a candy bar. What candy bar do you want to be? Not what you like, but what you want to be.
Snickers.
Okay, and why?
Because it sounds fun.
Okay. I myself would like to be a whatchamacallit. Because that was my favorite word growing up when I didn't know what something was to call it a whatchamacallit.
Okay.
And it came out when I was little, and my mom and dad had me convinced that I'm the one that gave them the idea for a whatchamacallit.
Oh my goodness.
All right. If you were to change your name.
Have you seen any of the chats that I've been trying to send to you?
No, I have not. I haven't been paying attention.
Obviously.
If you were to change your name, what name would you adopt going forward? And
Cletus.
why?
Cletus.
Why?
For that kind of reaction, my buddy Bill likes that name, Cletus, and I do too.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I always said that if I had a little girl, I would name her Michaela Rose because I've always liked that name. So it would probably be Michaela Rose. So
You ought to pick something like Ralph or Eugenia.
nope. All right. Remember, today our topic was on stigma and reducing it with the mental health issues.
And although we've left you with quite a stigma in and of itself, don't hold that against us.
Just remember, if you're feeling triggered by anything that we said, please, if you're feeling triggered by anything that we said, please contact your local mental health hotline, your suicide prevention hotline, and if you need to, call 911. Keep yourself safe.
Or send Melina an email at the email address down below.
If you're not feeling safe, contact somebody.
Yes.
If you just want someone to talk to, please contact me. I'd be more than willing to chat with you.
Reach out to her.
Okay? But please, if you are feeling unsafe, reach out like right now. All right? You need to keep yourself safe. And anything, above all else, keep yourself safe.
Be good to you.
Bye, everyone.